Welcome to another episode of As Told by Millennials.
Y'all better come up here and get one of these. That's too damn bad. And it's really very simple. Y'all better come up here and get one of these.
What is up?
Yeah, what's up? What's going on?
What is going on, gentlemen? How are you guys this evening?
Good.
We are here.
We are here, and we want to take this time to welcome everyone back to another episode of As Told by Millennials. It's good to be back. It's good to be back to do another episode of this podcast. Make sure you subscribe and follow us all across all social media at As Told by Millennials, and subscribe wherever you're getting your podcasts. What's up, black people? Has this been like a crazy week or what?
It has definitely been a crazy week.
Full of surprises, left and right.
Yeah, definitely blessed for sure, but it's been a whirlwind, a whole tornado.
What was that? Detroit had some tornadoes the other night.
Yeah.
I think they're having tornadoes. California is having earthquakes and hurricanes at the same time. Here in Mississippi, we are getting like the draft or the whatever you want to call it. Like it's smoke all in the air because there's some sort of uncontrolled wildfire in Louisiana and it's pushing all of the smoke and stuff this way. So it's just real smoky and hazy outside, which is, all of this is just new. It's just new, and it's I don't know. It's kind of eye opening because all of this is just stuff that we haven't necessarily experienced in our particular regions of the world. So I'm pretty sure everybody is just trying to get a handle on things.
Yeah, I saw some videos of those wildfires in Louisiana, and they are atrocious for sure, taking people's houses out like literally in seconds, taking out
Mm-hmm.
houses.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy, but El Nino is on his great bullshit this year with this weather. It's 107 at 8:44 p.m. in
It's
Dallas.
ridiculous.
It's
I
just kind
just
of,
overheated thinking about it.
for sure. Um, but we alive, allegedly.
Yeah, we smoking. Maybe I wish we
Yeah,
would get a drop of rain, please.
just a little drop.
Something. I mean, just in it's some sort of moisture or something. Like, I don't know. It could just, I don't care. It could be a hailstorm at this point. Just something.
Yeah, at this
Oh
point,
yeah,
yeah.
no man.
I don't think we've had rain here in maybe 2-3 months.
It has been a very, very long time since we've had some rain here. No, I take that back. It rained today, but it was like scattered showers. So it rained in certain parts of the city, and then it didn't rain in other parts of the city, which is just kind of weird. But here at my house, we weren't fortunate enough to get rain, so it's still just as dry as desert pussy. So
Yes.
um,
How is everybody feeling this week? Like mentally.
yeah, let's give numbers today. Let's see where y'all at.
Mm,
I'm actually a drunk 7 right now.
why?
Drunk.
I definitely understand the drunk part, but why 7?
It's just been a long week. I think I haven't really decompressed yet for the
Mm-hmm.
week. Um, my anxiety has been kind of out of control for about a week as well. So I'm kind of just like coming to terms with a lot of things and kind of taking the necessary steps to not only pull myself together but also nourish myself. So I'm getting there for sure.
Yeah,
I
I
would
get that.
say I
I was just going to add for those of y'all who don't know what we're talking about when we say numbers, this is like our wellness score, and we kind of took this and adapted it to our little podcast from our good friends Melvin and Brian at Don't Be Coy
Shout out to Don't.
podcast. Yeah, shout out to Don't Be Coy. And it was something that we just found, really, really useful in communicating where we are. And we've just kind of been incorporating it in our conversations and on the podcast and stuff. So, Denzel, you go ahead.
I would say I'm probably about an 8. This week has been everything was set up to be difficult for me, but somehow I found a way just to like find some type of peace, enjoy, and doing whatever it was, mainly at work, trying to train new employees that need to be fired and shipped on the road. But I made the best of it, and it was over before I knew it. So I'm good, just hanging out now for the weekend, just chilling out. Me and my brother went and saw a movie today, so that was a good start.
Hmm.
Okay, that's good.
I
Yeah.
am somewhere between a 9 and a 10. Like, I feel really good. I woke up, I felt really, really good. I was able to rest and not just sleep, but able to like really rest. And so I woke up feeling energized and recharged, and I was able to accomplish a lot today, mostly just around the house. Like I feel like we all, as adults, we all have like little projects and stuff around the house that we want to get to and we want to tackle and complete. And because of whatever circumstances, we just are never able to get to them. And luckily for me today, I was able to like really knock that list down to maybe one or two things that I really want to do around the house. And just cleaning up and organizing your space does a lot for your psyche. It does a lot for your mental health. So I'm feeling pretty good today. I would say I'm somewhere between a 9 and a 10.
That's what's up.
What's up?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely good to hear. I wanted to comment on um, Denzel, and I appreciate the way I hear you respond, and I think that just over this podcast, we've been able to see you kind of deal with some things and see you triumph over some things, and I'm just glad to hear the way you are responding. So that's exciting to me to hear you respond the way that you are.
You get tired of being weird and stressed, child.
I agree with that, and I agree with that. I share the same sentiment for you as well, David. For both of you, really, but for you as well, because um, you know, life comes with its own challenges, and it seems though um, sometimes those challenges get the best of you, and it's
Mhm.
hard being, a really, really good friend to someone and seeing them go through these challenges and not really being able to offer like the best solution. Yeah, you may be able to offer a solution in the moment, a kind word, something that gives them a little bit of motivation to keep going, but you can't solve the overall problem because it's not for you to solve. It's just for you to help them through to get to the other side of it. So I'm glad that um, I'm appreciative and thankful for this space in both of your lives that you all are in. Because it was not
Absolutely.
always this way. So I'm glad to see all of us, you guys and myself too. I'm glad to see all of us in this space uh, of being able to relax and in this space of comfort and just harvest. Like we put in such hard work into our lives and into our careers. And now I feel like we're really at a place where we can reap the benefits of all of it, and and just know that it wasn't all in vain.
Right.
All my
Yeah.
life I had to fight.
Oh God, shut up.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely like that part. I mean, and I don't think we even give ourselves enough credit for the time that we kind of like stepped away and just focused on career and getting our money right and things like that to now be able to, be on the other side of where we were a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
thank God for growth.
Right, right. Thank God for growth. And it's such a happy place to be in. And I think this is a wonderful segue into our happy hour,
Hmm.
um, where we discuss some of the things going on in pop culture and around the world that have just caught our ear or eye or or just attention in general. So what have y'all been seeing in the streets, on the interwebs and everything that has stood out to y'all?
Ooh, well, I have one that was it's kind of complex. Well, it's not. Okay, so there was a video where people have been assuming that um, Haley Bailey is pregnant, and I don't know. I guess some stuff was going on with people she know or somebody that she know of that her sister got wind of, which is Chloe, and she got online just like, yeah, hey, don't play with my sister, leave her alone and stuff like that. So, doing normally what the sisterly thing to do is to, take up for your sister. There was a show on Fox Soul by the name of what's the name of this show? Because I don't even really
Oh
watch.
Lord, I can't believe you bringing that
I am well, this
up.
person by the name of Funky Dineva,
Yep. Me and Milton had the same. That's why it's
man,
so funny.
and Chloe for basically no freaking reason. Um, it's one thing if you don't agree with what she did, but he went in with her physical looks, about her career and all that stuff. Just talking saying she doesn't look really good. She's lame. That's why her music career ain't going nowhere. And no, to be a 40-something-year-old man,
It came from a really nasty place, right?
it
Like,
was.
It was really nasty. It was really nasty, and it was filled with so much animosity, and it made you think that it was personal. Like, for him
it
to
came.
say, even if you watch the clip, he'll say, I know this is about Haley, it's not about Chloe, and then went into like a 5-minute rant on Chloe. And when you like, the conversation is centered around Hallie. I'm sorry, I think I said Haley, but her name is Hallie. Centered around Hallie and whether or not she's pregnant by this young man, whoever she's supposedly pregnant by. But he went like on and on and on about Chloe, and then maybe the last 15-20 seconds of his spiel, he mentioned that, well, I think Hallie's pregnant because if she raises up her arm, you can see her belly. But he went and like really attacked Chloe's
Uh,
character, like he personally knew this girl. He talked about her looks, he talked about her artistry, he talked about who she was as a person. And I was like, well, this is just like this doesn't seem like commentary anymore. Because we offer commentary here on the show. That's what we're doing now. But it doesn't seem like commentary. This seems like he was waiting for a moment to use his platform to attack this girl for whatever reason that we may not know about. And it was just really, I don't know. I didn't like it, and I didn't like the fact that Claudia sat there and allowed it to happen. I
Man,
can't. I don't
yeah,
know
and
the other man. I don't know the other
yeah,
man, but you, as a woman and as a woman of color, should not allow anybody to sit there and tear down another black woman or woman of color or woman in general. That way. You shouldn't allow that to happen. I don't think that was a good look. I don't think that was a good look for the program itself. Definitely wasn't a good look for Funky Dineva, and it was not a good look for Claudia. I didn't like it. I didn't like that at all.
yeah. I think that for Claudia, I was surprised that she kind of sat there and allowed it. Which I mean, she sat there and allowed me to treat her any kind of way too. But I feel like in the situation at hand that he literally sat there and bashed a black woman as bad as he wants to be one, and she allowed it to happen on a show that's going to be seen by everybody. I'm just kind of like, I feel like she could have stood up in that moment and just kind of been like, all right, now, hey, let's bring
Right.
it back. You're doing too much. But, you
Right.
know,
Let's keep it about the topic that we're discussing. We're discussing whether or not you believe Halle Bailey is pregnant. That was
And
it.
on top of that, even if she is pregnant, she has the right to tell us when she wants to tell us. That ain't you
Right.
ain't gonna
That's
have
what
no say
I
here that
never
matter.
understand that. I don't get those shows or those programs where the question is, you know, your perspective on somebody else's business, like somebody else's
mhm.
personal business. That's why I never really got Wendy Williams, and I couldn't get into it because I mean, if I don't do nothing else, I'm gonna mind my business. So you bringing up, whatever details about somebody else's business and then asking me what I think about it, I'm like, I don't think about it because it don't have nothing to do with me.
You know, it's the same for like Shade Room, and I unfollowed them many years ago. But like Shade Room and the Neighborhood Talk, like I can't stand to see a post and they'll say something or post something. They're like, what are your thoughts? What thoughts? My
What
thoughts about
thoughts?
that person's life does not even matter, and
Right.
it shouldn't matter. And why should we open up the platform to literally sit here and bash a person who we don't even fucking know?
But I think what is happening is like at first Funky Dineva used to have like videos that were had some type of, to it. Like it made sense. But now I feel like, with them going like I guess what do you call it? Like big time, I guess, whatever, being on Fox, you're getting beyond yourself and you start thinking you're somebody that you're not because nobody gives a damn with who you are. Because I know that it's affecting you because any other time you will still be um, online arguing back and forth with somebody. Somebody say something bad about you. You haven't said anything, not on Instagram, not on TikTok, not on nothing. Like, so I know that the heat is hitting you. Just come
I'm
out and
not
apologize.
I'm not familiar with he, him or her I don't know what their preferred pronouns are. So I'm not familiar with them. Are they like a personality or like a YouTube
There,
person?
yeah, they're a YouTuber, kind of like how Tasha K is and stuff like that.
Oh, like a gossip thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
I only know Funky Dineva from popping up on social media, kind of like post MySpace, like the beginning of Instagram is kind of where I picked up on him, but I never was interested in anything that looked the way he looked and then wearing a wig. So, you know, you would just kind of hear stuff and then, you know, be like, oh, okay, that's Funky Dineva, but you know, even saying Funky Dineva kind of tastes bad on my tongue. So, you know, it is what it is. But who are me?
it was him.
What's next?
Okay, what else is going on?
Mm,
Your favorite president, Donald Trump.
my
Um,
favorite president.
he is turned himself in for the treason and whatever else that he's being charged with in Georgia, and his mugshots were released. Uh,
Wonderful.
he looked like a handful of slime in his mugshot. And that's really all I got to say about him. I could scratch him off my list. Y'all have anything to say?
I just want to know why he lied about his weight. You're not 215, sweetie.
He put 215.
Say he weighs 215.
Wow, I'm 100.
Girl, I must be 7. Cause baby, that wig alone is probably 7 damn pounds for him.
Yeah, that toupee.
And it's so crazy. Like all the people that were with him, like the white people, they got their buns set and came in, took their little photos, and went home. one black man. He's the he was like the head guy over blacks for Trump, black voices for Trump. He's still sitting in jail, baby. No bond.
Mm.
So interesting.
Yeah, I did see there was a whole campaign of black people for Trump outside of the courthouse or outside of the jail campaigning for him, which was kind of weird to me on a lot of different levels. Like, are you just bored?
It was
Hmm.
one woman on TikTok. She said she was out there talking about free Trump, and she said anytime we tell them to free somebody, they be gone forever. She said I hope the same happen now.
Yeah.
I know this conversation is about Trump, but I also want to mention and give so much praise to the district attorney, Fannie Willis, for actually having the gall and the audacity to go after him and not just, because, there have been attorneys and prosecutors that go after Trump, but, when the title and the titles of all those involved with Trump and the money and all of that kind of starts to move around and people kind of throw their weight and their money around and a lot of it seems to disappear. But she was one of the ones that was like, no, when you break the law, you should be, held to the same standard as everyone else when they break the law. And she really, really went after him. So kudos to her.
Yeah, because
Kudos
it's
to
my
her.
understanding that she is the same DA that prosecuted the rappers on their
Yeah,
RICO case
thug.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But you know they're
Mm-hmm.
saying that the Republican or the GOP of Georgia, uh, whoever those people are, I guess in Congress had passed a law where they can change. It starts on October 1st that they can remove Fannie Willis from her job, and that's what they're planning on doing. But the trial has set to
Oh,
be
I'm definitely sure that they are. I'm sure that they are going to try to do that. Um, because in the sense of positions and appointed positions and stuff like that, I'm sure the Republicans feel like she has overstepped to do
Hmm.
something like this. I'm sure they feel like she has overstepped and she needs to be, um, you know,
prepared.
brought down a notch. But I feel like, right, put her name in the history books for what she has done.
Hmm.
I feel like she did a wonderful job, and I'm sure she would be commemorated with or without the position of district attorney in Fulton County. So,
Right. Move to a black city, she'll have a job.
hmm
What else is going on?
Right.
um, just quickly, I want to mention the whole Michael Orr and the Blind Side story about how um, the Tui family have been pretty much making money off him like some sort of cash cow, and not giving him any of the money. Like I was kind of reading over some of the stuff and listening to a lot of commentary about it. And they were saying how they have made, millions and millions of dollars from the movie. Because the movie was like, it didn't cost much to make, but it had like a really, really big back end to where I think it made like $3 million, 3.5 million, maybe more than that. But I know it's up in the millions that it's made. And they get like, a percentage of that as far as residuals. And they have never given him anything. And um, it's his story that they're making all of this money off of. And I was reading something or just a little post or something on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it was, but they were saying that when Michael got with that black woman, that's when all this stuff started coming out because she was like, "Oh hell no!"
Where the money going? Where it
Right?
Right.
Where is the money?
at? Where is your scooter? Where is
You done had everything happen to you.
it? Shoot, I
Yeah.
mean, and that's a lot of people
That is,
sometimes that they just get in people's mind and they never really question, what's really going on.
Yeah, but I also hate that it took this long for him to say something. So I'm not necessarily questioning him, but I'm also wondering. Why now? Because you're good and grown. You didn't just become grown 5 years or 10 years ago. You good and grown. And if you felt some kind of way about it, you could have handled it a long time ago. So it's kind of just like, I would be
I
on his side.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But from what I was reading, it sounds like he didn't realize that it was happening to this capacity. He didn't realize that they were making so much money and then not giving him anything. Like
Mm,
nothing from their foundation, nothing from the movies, nothing from their like speaking engagements and all of this stuff. They weren't giving him anything, which I'm sure he was, living okay. I mean, he was an NFL player, so I'm pretty sure he was doing okay. So he probably just didn't, just wasn't thinking about it in the moment.
yeah.
But I think he didn't realize it had gotten to that magnitude. And the crazy thing about it is to me that if they had done it the right way, they still would have gotten paid. If
Yeah.
they had done it the right way and included him and given him whatever, just from them being over his conservatorship, they still would have gotten paid. You know, so I hope that everybody goes up for him to be released from this conservatorship the same way they did Britney Spears.
Yeah.
So
And which they probably won't, but you know how that is.
right, right,
I just
but
hope he has the right support after he gets,
me
once
too.
they do release him, because Brittany, she didn't have the right support system. They
Hmm.
really did a number on her. It's like everybody was like vultures in her life, including her parents, her ex-husband, the husband she with now that's about to be her husband. Like everybody's like doing her. Nobody's just like really okay with her well-being. Like you have lived a good life off of the base of this girl's name, and now she's just such this horrible person that you can't do anything for. Like you're moving her ex-husband, moving the kids to Hawaii, and now the husband she's with is leaving, and he wants money to be, like what is it, spousal support. Get your ass up and go to work.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. That's crazy.
You gotta know these folks before you marry them. But
Right, right. But we can end the happy hour right there and move on to the next part of the show.
all right. It's festival season, and planning for faster, more efficient hydration is essential. Liquid IV has you covered while you prepare for a night out with the crew or recover from Sunday fun day. Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water alone with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use as told by millennials at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop for better hydration today using promo code as told by millennials at liquidiv.com.
Welcome
So,
back, Millennials. And that was a beautiful vocal rendition of Something by Denzel. Um,
wow.
but this is the section of the show where we go into great detail about something that has just been on our minds. David and I were kind of having um, this conversation in one of our phone calls that we have, and we decided it would be a good talking point for the show to get everybody's perspective. So we're going to go into great detail about education and how um, it may have failed us, like the systematic education system that we have all matriculated through, whether it be elementary, grade school, high school, college, the promise that education is just the key to a brighter future and the best life possible here in America, and how we have found that to be true or not true. So we're gonna delve into that conversation. What do you guys feel about the education that you received? Now looking back on yourselves and having to implement that education into your own lives, what do you feel about the education that you received? What are some pros and cons, and how has it served you and how has it failed you?
For me, growing up, education was kind of a cut and dry thing. And coming up in the school, it means like they want you to graduate and go to college and do all that. But I feel like it kind of failed us because everybody had different dreams, and the how do I say this? The setup, the standard setup for education does not fit most of kids and kids our day their dreams at that time. So it's kind of like a lot of kids were persuaded away from their dreams because they wanted to stick to the standard of where we going to school, going to college, and get that degree. And then by the time you get that degree, you're burnt out on your dreams, you're burnt out on life, and you don't really end up going into the field that you originally went to school for. You're just getting a job just to survive. I feel like in high school, the setup needs to be changed. I think it needs to be a more high school needs to be a more career driven type of school. Just like how college is, where you go to college and you get a degree in teaching, engineering, such and such. But I feel like that is college is not for everybody, especially the cost. And that is one of the main reasons that a lot of people don't go to college because, for one, who can pay for it? And with being in public school and high school, I feel like you can get a lot of information. I feel like when you're in high school, that's when you're most vulnerable of taking in information on your dreams. You're ready to get out to your parents' house. You're ready to hit the road running, and they don't set you up really good for that. And I feel like when me, that kind of failed me because when we graduated Milson, we had it was the recession was going on in 2008, and so much stuff was going on. People were out of jobs, and our life had to still continue to go as educational wise. And money can put a lot of stress on a young person coming out of their parents' house and not having the means to financially support themselves. And when you are sitting there worrying about how you're going to pay for this, how you're going to pay for that, it takes away your drive from wanting to learn and go further in life. And you're looking like, if this is what life is about, I just need to get quick money right now. I feel like school is not set up for, it's not changing with the times for it to keep students' attention span and to get them to move in the direction that they need to move in. We have a lot of older people in positions and the school council and system and stuff like that that are not willing to adjust with the times, and they're still thinking that school is how it was when they grew up.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see some of the points you made there. David, what about you as an educator?
Um, as an educator, there are some things there, especially in Denzel's statement that I can agree with, for sure. And my master's degree is in higher education, and I will say that they are. I heard that you kind of tapped on student engagement and um, grasping the minds of learners for longer periods of time, especially for your degrees. There is a lot of research going into how to increase student engagement, especially since COVID-19. And I think that higher education is realizing that there is a problem there, and there are some things that need to be worked on in order to increase a college going spirit, and also just kind of get students enthusiastic about re-enrolling in school, going back to school, actually going to college. And I think that specifically the statement about um, paying for college, I think that there is a certain level of education that needs to go into providing students with the resources they need to go to college and not have to worry about the costs. Um, because for me, like that wasn't something that I ever really thought about. I never really thought about the cost of college. And I'm not 100% sure if it is because of my parents, or I just never really let money control me like that, or a dollar sign. But I know that there are a lot of resources for students who cannot necessarily afford to pay for college out of their pocket. But for me, I used Pell Grants. I used all the financial assistance that ever could have been offered. I found it. I used it. I applied for scholarships. And my parents never, besides, giving me gas money, my parents never came out of their pocket to do anything for me as it pertains to college. So I think that we have to make sure that the education system is also giving students the resources they need to be able to attend college, and not, like you said, worry about how they're going to pay for it, because it's really not something that should sway a student from actually attending college. Um, and I think that the education system as a whole is kind of fucked up. Um, from the beginning, I think that schools need to teach students more about financial literacy and what it looks like for a student when they leave high school. Um, there's a whole life out there. I think that we need to teach more life skills in education. I think that we have way too many middle school and high schoolers that cannot read. Um, and I think that for me specifically, I think that had it not been for me picking the right tribe, picking the right people to be around, that I would not be as successful as I am today. Because there was a lot of things I had to learn by being thrown out there, and there were a lot of things that I had to learn to become the man I am today by just experiences. Um, and I think that those are the kind of things that are failing the generations. I don't necessarily think it's failing me. And I mean, I'm just a fighter. I'm a fighter, but I think that specifically, I never really thought that I was smart enough growing up. I would see students get A's and B's, and I would get B's, C's, and D's. And I would see the outlook that those students had. And I always wanted to be like in the talented and gifted program. And now that I'm teaching talented and gifted students, I really was like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to be a part of that shit. Um, but now when I look at it, it's like, a lot of those students that were in those programs, a lot of those students that made all A's and all B's are not doing anything with their life now. And it's those of us who were making the B's, C's, and D's who actually went out there and did something with ourselves. So I think that there are a lot of fallacies associated with education, and it definitely fooled me in that aspect, because I felt like I would only be so much because I was making B's, C's, and D's, and I had to learn that I'm really him, and I'm really smart as fuck. And it took people like you guys telling me, nigga, you smart, you know a lot, you damn near a genius, for me to really realize, and that took to my adult age to realize like how smart I was, and to really like go after my dreams and not sit back and feel like I'm only B, C, and D worthy, because I'm really doing more than a lot of these people who just learn fast, or who learn easier than I do. And I was one of those people that I had to be taught a different way than everybody else. And I think that it's easy, if you're not a go getter, it's easy to get lost in society in that manner. And I know that was a long way around the world, but I feel like it needed to be said, all of those things. But yeah, that's how I feel.
That's
But yeah, T.
interesting. That's interesting coming from you, the educator. Um, well, for me, I always did well in school. I was always a B student. Um, I was in some sort of talented and gifted whatever shit is ever since I can remember. Um,
Mm,
but I think having experienced all of that stuff, and then my friends are people who are not necessarily in the talented and gifted program, but I know that these people are smart. I
mm-hmm,
know these people are just as, if not smarter, if you want to call it that, than I am. And I just think that this standardized, tailored watered down education system that we have that is, kind of uh, being tweaked and tailored by the powers that be, because we don't really get like a true um potent
measure.
like education, like the education and the stuff that we teach in schools now is all, it has to go through like some sort of approval, like, well, we don't want you to teach our kids this, and we don't want our
Right.
kids to know about this, and our kids knowing that their great 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 whoever might have owned slaves and stuff may hurt their feelings and make them feel bad. But education is that's what education is supposed to do. Education is supposed to make you reflect, and it's
Hmm.
supposed to make you think in depth, and not just enough to pass a test, but it's supposed to make you think about yourself as a person, think about the country, think about the state of things. It's supposed to be thought provoking just in general. And so when I look back on education, even early on in like elementary school, and how it thankfully it didn't I wasn't one of the ones who kind of fell by the wayside, because I knew how to adapt to what they wanted. And it didn't, it's not to say that I'm smarter than anybody, but I knew how to put what they wanted on this piece of paper and turn it in. But that doesn't
Hmm.
make me smarter than anybody, just because someone doesn't learn the way that I learn, or I don't learn the way that they learn, or I'm able to take in information in different sorts of ways. Some people are auditory learners, some people are kinetic learners. Like you have all different types of learners and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So just because I am able to take in information in multiple ways doesn't make me smarter than the next person. Just because I test well doesn't make me smarter than the next person. And I think this system that we use to grade intelligence and to grade how well people will do in life and all of this stuff, because I had an English teacher years ago when I was in high school told me that if you think straight A people run the world, you are out of your mind.
You're out of
Yep.
your mind. Yeah.
People with C's and D's, and people who had to learn from their mistakes and so on, those are the people that run the world. You
Hmm.
know. So, and
But
I
you know,
that has always stuck with me, and I just feel like our education system here in the country, because education is something that I've always been sort of passionate about. I think I've talked to you guys before about, at some point in my life I may want to go into education as third or fourth. I don't even know what career option I'm on now, but just to go into it, because it's something that I've always been passionate about. And I just feel like the education system as a whole. And I know that there are good teachers out there. I know that there are people out there who are really trying to make a difference and are making a difference in their students' lives. But just the education system as a whole is it's so flawed that I think it does more damage than good. Even when people come in and try to fix it with, like, Bush did the No Child Left Behind thing, where it was good because the people who may have learned differently and may just at a slower pace were given the opportunity to catch up to those who learn at a faster pace. But then you'd have to take those who learn at a faster pace and slow them down, and they become, bored, and they feel stagnant, and that creates a whole, other whirlwind of problems. And so I just feel like there are a lot of flaws that need to be addressed in the education system, even college, like even the dream of college, how they say
Yeah.
that you go and get a degree, and somehow that piece of paper is just automatically going to make your life better. But I have there have been many times at jobs that I've worked where I'm at an entry level position, working with alongside people with master's degrees. Like, they have more education, and are more qualified, for positions throughout this company than not just their boss, but their boss's boss. Like,
hmm
they should be, CEOs and COOs and VPs and stuff. But here they are at entry level, corporations, or entry level positions, because either they didn't know the right people, or just that whole thing of it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And
Mhm.
so I feel like that is something that can be improved on in the education system. I feel like the fact that for a long time, especially when we were coming along, skills like
Yeah.
going and learning you a trade or a skill was something that was frowned upon. Like
Hmm.
it for whatever reason it made, or it carried this connotation of being, you're not smart enough to go to a 4-year college, so you
Mhm.
have to go and learn a skill. But it's people with these skills, HVAC and heating and all of that other stuff, plumbing, truck drivers, welding. Like these are the people who are literally creating the world around us.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I feel like that is something that um, that was a falsehood, or like you said, David, a fallacy as far as education is concerned. And even just having to pay for education is so weird to me.
Yeah, let's
Me
start
It
there.
is
too.
so crazy that you want me to pay for this free information, because you can go. Let me tell you, whatever they're teaching you at Jackson State University, Alcorn State University, Howard, whatever, you can go to your local city library
And do the same
Exactly.
thing.
The
and
same
find
stuff.
whatever information they're giving you in there, and it's free.
Well, it's
It's
interesting
free.
that you even said that because I feel like as a person who's in the classroom every day, I think that the curriculums are written to create workers for the world. And then you go to college and the curriculums are written for you to solve problems. And I feel like there's a gap there because I feel like we should maybe flip it or maybe streamline creating people who can solve problems rather than creating people who can work, because you can teach a person how to work, but you need to give a certain level of knowledge for people to be able to solve problems. And I think that the world is so full of problems. That's what we really need. And I think that it will make people feel like that bachelor and master's degrees are not necessarily higher than HVAC and trade degrees, because I was raised by two parents who went and got trade degrees and associate degrees, and my father was a master plumber who received various licenses to do so, and HVAC person who made a damn good living, to raise his kids and make some more money than me, with a lot less education. So I feel like it just depends on, like I said, what are we teaching people, as
Mhm.
far as, what education can offer them? Because I mean, a 2-year degree can offer you just as much of a happy and successful life as a person who goes and receives a degree from a higher education.
I've always felt like education is a spectrum. Nobody's gonna know everything,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but um, it seems like education, like you said, David, should at least teach us to solve problems. And I feel like
Mhm.
that's one thing it doesn't teach, really. It doesn't really teach people critical thinking skills. It teaches you what to think. It teaches you what to think about science. It teaches you what to think about social studies. It teaches you what to think about math. And, it teaches you all of this type of stuff, but it doesn't really teach you how to take these things and these tools and apply them to real world situations. And I feel like though that is what um, oftentimes people who work with their hands, that's what they
Mhm.
that's one advantage they have over people who are always working with their minds sometimes. Because yeah, I can people who work with their minds can give you the idea or tell you, what you should be able to do to solve the problem. But unless you're in there with your hands and seeing exactly what it is, like there's just a certain aspect of it, of problem solving, that you don't really understand. Does that make sense? Am I making sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I don't know. And and you see it like we see it happen to us, and we've been able to kind of rectify and bounce back and tweak what we needed to what we needed to tweak as far as ourselves and the way we think. But then you see it, the same sort of situation and scenario playing out in like the generations coming behind us and like my younger cousins and stuff like that. And I'm like I had a conversation with one of my cousins, and I didn't. It was hard for me to have that conversation with him, but because I didn't want to seem like a dream crusher, but I like y'all know if I'm a realist. I'm very very realistic, probably too realistic sometimes. But he said that because he had just saw something on TV or heard about it or something like that. He said that a little black boy from rural Arkansas. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but he said that he wanted to go to Duke to play basketball.
Oh, Duke.
Hmm.
And everybody in my family was like, yes, and yeah, you're going to go to Duke and blah, 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 and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this boy ain't going to no motherfucking Duke. Are y'all crazy? Like, come on now. Like, support dreams, support your children, whatever, do all of that good stuff. But this boy ain't going to no Duke as a student. No,
Hmm. Yeah.
he's not going to go to Duke as a student. Not with his grades. He is a good basketball player, but he's not the type of basketball player that a recruiter from Duke is going to come to sit in rural Arkansas to look at.
Hmm.
It's just I feel like those types of conversations are the ones that we're missing from when we were coming along, because oftentimes you would hear, well, you just go apply for financial aid and you'll be fine. And
Yeah.
stuff like that, when you don't really teach people about, well, because of your situation. And I feel like it should be more personalized. Because of your situation, you will qualify for a Pell Grant, you will qualify for this type of assistance, you will qualify
Hmm.
for foundation scholarships if you apply for them, you'll qualify for foundation scholarships because you're a boy,
Yeah.
you'll qualify for foundation scholarships because you're a black girl. Like
Yeah.
there's and I feel like those types of conversations is what was missing from when we were coming along, and as far as education and stuff like that. So I try to have conversations like that with my younger cousins and stuff like that. Even my sister is still in college. I try to have conversations, with them about stuff like that, from what I've learned and from what I've learned to be true about education and what it does to garner a better life, if that is what you're after. If you're after money and all of that other stuff, then
Yeah.
education can go to that part too. There's going to be a different track that you're going to need to take. But yeah, I've always felt like education could be a tool, and the education system in America does not teach us how to use that tool to the best of its ability.
Hmm.
I also think that the timing is off when in regards of when students start to really think about college and when the school system like starts to show them their options on scholarships, all that type of things. I think that the earlier you start, the better. Like you can't wait till like go to when you're in high school to start taking college trips, like going to visit college. You need to start like in middle school, like expose that to them early. So the earlier that they know, the more information that they're prone to get and know. Okay, I'm almost towards the limit where this is. I'm at the deadline where this could affect if I can go here or I can't go here.
Hmm. And I think that's important too because I teach at a talented and gifted academy as well as a preparatory school, and we start the children in sixth grade thinking about where they want to go to college. So we're a college readiness campus. So we shove college, trade schools, whatever it is. And I personally, when I think about college, I lump in trade schools as well because I don't think that they're any less than four-year universities. But we start shoving that
Hmm.
down
Hmm.
students' throats from an early age, and I can remember just. For instance, how people would put down HBCUs and they would say, oh, HBCUs are just easy, or that's for people who aren't that smart go. And I'm like, I don't know about that because them niggas that was teaching them
Let me
class
tell
over
you
there when
something.
I was over They
Usually,
had something to prove. Them black teachers do not play with you. And I tell people, unless you number one, HBCUs are probably made for people who know how to be resourceful. You know how to handle your business because you ain't finna just go over there and just show up and think that you're gonna make it through because you got to get over there and be like, okay, I've got this problem. I got to figure out how to handle this so that I can even get to class. Then when I get to class, I got to figure out how I can even handle this just to pass this motherfucker. Because the teachers don't just let you come in and do nothing. And I think that we don't build kids to be resourceful or like we keep saying we don't build them to be problem solvers. And we throw them out here into the world and we figuring out why people just want to go work. People just want to go get a basic job and make it happen. But you gotta do more and pushing career down kids' throats is what we're gonna need because they feel like they only can or they're only smart enough to go play football or they're only smart enough to go play basketball. And we got to let them know, hey, if you need resources, if you need something to be your best self, then we can give it to you. But
Yeah,
we also have to create a platform to where they feel like they can actually say that.
yeah.
Mhm.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I went and looked at a movie today. It was based off of a true story where this young guy he grew up in a family. His dad was a successful sports soccer player. It's a real story though. But he learned how he loved playing video games, and his dad wanted him to go to college. Like he was telling him the video games is not going to do it for you. And somehow he was given an opportunity, and by playing the video games, and he got to do what he really wanted to do. It's all about the confidence and how bad you really want to do what you want to do. No, you love to do. Everything that you do, it may not be successful in somebody else's eye. It might not bring like a lot of value to life, like some from other people's point of view. But if it's something that you love to do, there's a way that you can make a career out of anything. You just got to know how to do it, and with those skills that you all are talking about, like life skills, learn how to be problem solving, learn how to be respectful and responsible and stuff like that. All those key factors tie into doing you and you if you tie all those things together, you can do whatever you want to do and you can make a career out of it.
Yeah, and I
I
think
like,
that parents have to be really careful about what we tell students or children that they cannot do because I think that a child who's drawn to video games, let's feed off of that and flip that into how that can become a career because there are people out here making millions off creating video games, creating software,
mm-hmm.
or even just as simple as just playing the damn video games
And letting other people watch you.
and why? Yeah, so I mean, yeah, we don't want to promote them sitting up playing and sitting on the couch playing the game all day, but
But
start talking
why?
to them about how they can be the creators of those games and how they can use the knowledge they have to be really, really good at those games to be something bigger. Don't just say, "Oh, you shouldn't play games all day," or "You don't need to be doing that. You need to be reading the book." And I'm like, "Well, but you can be smart, play video games, and create them as well." So
Mm-hmm.
we have to be
I
careful at
just,
what we say to kids.
I just think that societal values um, play a big role in what children feel like they're capable of knowing and what they feel like they actually want to do and what they feel like they can voice interest in. So it's just I'm just piggybacking on what you said, what you both of you said about these things and these interests that children have that they often don't feel like they can voice their
Mhm.
opinions or their interest in because it's not deemed successful. And it leads me to another question, like what is success to you guys?
Well, success to me is being able to support myself financially, emotionally, doing something that I while doing something I love, and it doesn't stress me out. I'm happy what I'm doing. Success is a whole whatever you make it to be. But for me, I'm successful if I can financially provide for myself, and I'm not struggling. I'm happy with my job, and I'm doing something that I'm into. Like I love my job. I love I want to doing something that I can go further with into as well. Not just doing something like, okay, I'm done. Like, all right, I'm boxing stuff up. That's it. No, I want to be able to move up and just learn more and more and just to be the best person I can be. That's success to me. It's not all about money. It's a lot about your comfort of life and your mental space while doing a particular job.
Hmm.
I agree with that. David, what about you?
I think success is just achieving whatever goals you set for yourself. And I know the dictionary defines success as achieving a certain level of wealth, or prosperity or fame and all those things. But I think that success is really just about achieving what goals you set for yourself.
I agree with that. To me, success is um, achieving the goals that I've set for myself, and having peace of mind about it,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and being able to put myself in situations where I can do the things that I enjoy, that I can pour into, and that equally pour back into me.
Mhm.
Because I don't want to do anything that's draining, or that just feels like it's sucking the life out of me. I want to be able to pour myself into whatever it is that I decide to do, and then have just by doing that, just the act of doing what I love to do, have that pour back into me. So it never feels like like a some sort of symbiotic relationship. It always feels like it's like the relationship is reciprocated, and the energy is just reciprocated. It's just a transfer. I put energy into this, and by doing this, it gives me energy. Like, I want it to be that sort of thing. And it just success. The older I get, the less and less success has anything to do with money, because I can make
Yeah.
money. Like, that's just it's not I can go somewhere and make some money. Like, that's just not a big thing to me. But I want it to be enjoyable. I want
Yeah.
to have peace of mind about it. I want to feel like I did something good, and that's what success to me.
Yeah, because I mean, think about. Do y'all remember the first time you fell and scraped your knee?
I just did it the other day.
And yeah, I mean, the experiences you learned, growing up, lead to success. And I think that you can't have success without failure. And I think
Mhm.
that we kind of have to be encouraged to seek those things that we want out of life, and not allow the fear
Hmm.
failure to keep us from success, because there is no success without constant failure. And I think that we have to look at our roadmap, and sometimes our roadmap has literally led us to exactly what it is of the things we've asked for and reached for.
And people think that success is like Bill Gates. Like, you're a regular person to Bill Gates, but success is really the achievement of small goals. Like, what goal you set for the day and you'll conquer it, that you're successful in it. Just like when Milton went back to school before he even graduated, when he got into school, you were successful into getting into nursing school. So you just have to,
Sure was.
and you graduate. Now you're a successful registered nurse. So hey, even though I call you med school, but
Yeah.
you
This fool
just
called me med school off for 2 years, y'all. For 2 years. He would call,
my
I would pick up
friend.
the phone, and I would pick up the phone, and he would say something crazy like, So whose heart are you pulling out today, med school? And I'd be like, Denzel, what are you talking about?
I don't care what nobody say. My friend is a doctor.
Yeah, and I mean, no, no, for real, I wouldn't put it past him. If he ever was to just kind of say something about becoming a doctor, I wouldn't put it past him because Milton has been he's been a nurse since we met him or since I met him back in 2010, and so it's really just kind of one of those things where it's his personality as who he is, and he goes to work and comes home and it's all so normal to him. You know, we just sitting there like, well, damn, how did you deal with this person coming into the ER today? And he's just like, oh, yada yada yada. It was nothing. And we like, shit, bitch, I'll still be getting picked up off the floor.
They all I can say is they know who to have in their ER and who not to have in there.
Yeah,
Come up in there with me, baby. I'm like the band-aid's over there. What you in my face for?
yeah, yeah.
But I
Agree.
really feel like that what y'all are saying really goes back into the whole conversation we're having about education because as far as education is concerned and as far as guiding counselors and like the whole system of what I was supposed to do and all this other stuff and what was projected for me, I was not supposed to be a nurse. I was supposed to be doing something with computers. I think you know how you take some sort of career placement study
Hmm.
thing and they kind of tell you what you're good at and it's sort of like an ASVAB type of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think I was supposed to go into like computer science or something, but I had absolutely no passion for computers. Yeah, I can get on here
Mhm.
and figure out what I need to do, and I can use. I'm pretty fluent in being able to use a computer, but I just had no passion for it, which
Mhm.
leads me back to saying the whole system that we have as far as grading intelligence and what people should do and what an A means and what a C means. It's just so flawed.
Yeah, I agree. I actually really enjoyed this conversation.
It was good.
Um, I enjoyed the full circle moments because I believe it was around this same time last season that we talked about, just kind of getting into the mind frame of just, getting in school or going back to school or whatever the conversation was. But just, having this conversation kind of encourages, those people that if you're still, kind of circling around, like, what do I want to do in my life? Go back to what you know, go back to what you love. Because like from Milton, they said you should be a computer scientist, but you ended up going back to what it is that you loved and what you were passionate about. And that was, becoming a nurse or going into the medical field. For me, I always wanted to teach people, but I was supposed to be a computer scientist as well. And I just I was like, I don't really feel that I love technology, but now I have found my niche, and that's finding ways to increase the use of technology in the classroom, and that has been what has made my job so amazing. So you just got to go after those things that like make you tingle, and those things that are for you, and just let it take you. Like if you follow that path, all the things that you hope, pray for, and ask for will be given to you because that's your purpose.
And just do one goal at a time. You don't have to
Um,
bunch everything up all together. Take one step at a time.
yeah.
Right, that's very, very true. But this has been a really, really good conversation. I'm glad that we decided to have it. I appreciated the views expressed and just the different perspectives as I always do with the conversations that we have. Um, but yeah, we can wrap it up right there. I think we've gone into great detail enough with that conversation. So if there's anything that you guys listening would like to add to this conversation, you can reach out and hit us up in the inbox or at the email or on the website. We would love to hear from you. Make sure you check out the website. You can get to it by clicking the link in each one of our bios. Make sure you follow us and the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and across all social media platforms. And Go back and catch up on all those other episodes if you haven't already. We be talking about some good shit over here. We really do.
Yeah, yeah, completely
But
agree.
this has been another episode of As Told by Millennials. Anything you guys want to add before we head out?
Be great, never late.
Just be encouraged, guys. Like, hey, we all out here living this thing called life. So, handle your business.
Hmm. All of that. So with that being said, we will catch you guys next week. Peace.
Peace. Arrivederci.